All right, hello everyone. Welcome to this week's weekly watch list. It's June 22nd, 2025. Sorry for getting this out late. I had a busy day. I did do my screening in the morning, and then I planned on making this video a little later on, but things got carried away. But there really isn't much there to do. I only had a handful of names in my screening, and that's your number one indicator. If there's barely any stocks to buy, then you know the market environment is not conducive for buying. Let alone the recent activity where stocks are breaking out and we're seeing volatility around the pivots. Some stocks are slow to get out, like Spotify and Crowd. They can't get going. Other stocks are getting stopped out. Some are getting stopped out same day. So it's really not a great environment. We're on double red on the risk model, and we're just going to take things very small, very light, very cautious. So let's jump into it here. What do we have here? Let's go in alphabetical order. So first up, ALNY. This was on last week's list. It did break out on Friday. Had a decent breakup, then came back in and squatted, and then we got a inside day Friday. So this is still buyable. It hasn't breached this pivot low here. You got got the wrong drawing tool there. You're about a 5% stop there. So until that gets hit, this is still viable. This is a biotech, by the way. EAT restaurant. This one broke out last week on Tuesday here. Clear pivot, and now it's just making another pivot. Very clear pivot here. So you can add to your position or start one if you didn't take it. You're looking at about 3.5% risk. Even if you take it all the way down to here, you're looking at 9.7%. So this is still pretty tight. I would not give it much room because of the environment we're in. So I would put my stop right there. HWKN, this is a commodity chemicals. Let me zoom out here. It's a pretty big cup and handle. It looks a bit deep, but it's only 29%. So this is still pretty tight. If you use Thursday's low as your stop, that's 3.34%. It's a very tight pivot. IESC, this is construction and engineering. This is another cheat. This one corrected about 54%, which is about normal. It's about average. But in this pivot here, we got about 7% here. If you use Thursday or Friday, you're looking at around 4%. So getting pretty tight here. You could give this a shot. LAUR, this is an education stock, education services. Kind of a big base here, but never real. You could have bought this. It looks good in hindsight, but in all reality, this wasn't on my list. It's not something I would buy. So I never really gave you a spot to get on here. I just kind of blasted off, but now it's putting in a secondary base cap pattern, if you will. But clear pivot, you can stop anywhere from 2.5 down to 3.8. You could throw it below the 50-day and still be under 7%. So this one's pretty tight. MCK, this is a healthcare distributor. Big base. It kind of, if you take this as a breakout and then just chugging along, and now you start a new base right here. But this one is about 2.5% in this pivot. So that's super, super tight. MKL, this is a property and casualty insurance. Not the sexiest name. We don't like insurance names, but I like these volume bars, these skyscrapers showing institutional support. We got a decent pivot here. You're looking at 3 3/4 at this shakeout low here. So this is pretty damn tight. And last but not least, QBTS. This is another meme type play for the quantum computing theme. This had, this move there, that was 926%. This move off the lows there was 167%. This move off the lows here was 192%. So huge moves, and we're playing this as a pullback. So over Thursday's high, which is 1625, that's buyable. And then throw your stop at the pivot low here. That's about 10%. Maybe use Friday's low, 5.25, 5.75. You got some options here, but this is like a meme type of play. This is not your typical growth stock. And the reason I'm playing this is just because if you look at Quantum, this was on our list a few weeks ago. Same thing where I said, hey, look at this. It ran up 500% here, and then it ran up 133% here. So when it built this pivot, I said, it's likely going to blast off again. And now here we are a few days later, and it's up 140%. So same kind of thing we're looking for with QBTS. See if that can get going. And that's it. That's the entire list. I told you it's very short. Keep it small, keep it tight. Don't get crazy. Who knows what's going to happen? I see a lot of people on Twitter and my friends and family. They the market's probably going to tank on Monday because the president bombed Iran. It's like, yeah, maybe, but you don't know. You don't have a crystal ball. The market could also gap up. The market might take that whole news scenario and say, okay, well, we decimated Iran's nuclear facilities, so it's done. Wash your hands, it's over with. And, the market can breathe now. So we don't know. Anybody who says that they know or that they're going to trade off of their opinion, that's not a smart thing to do. You trade off the stocks. And right now the stocks are saying that they're not ready and there's not a lot out there to buy in the first place. So regardless, be prepared. That's all you can do. And that's it. We'll see how this works out. See you next week.